Right, so we are hacking out the yard. 2.5 hour drive towards Bromley, Greater London, to go and retrieve a Y-Reg, so is it 80? Free? Can't remember, I'll have a look in a minute. Peugeot 305, 1.6 I think it is. Diesel estate, doesn't go, it's been in a shed for years, or garage. It's not that rusty apparently. And it's the weird one before an XUD with the gearbox in the sump, like Peugeot, renowned for being slow and not terribly good. It's just what a man needed. An attractive shade of blue. So Fudge's transit fixing for the day. We are pretty much, this is the last pre-Christmas adventure, and we are off. Right, we are well on it. We've just stopped at Topside of Winchester for coffee and sustenance. My lord, it's horrible out here today. I don't think I could have picked a wetter, more minging, traffic-ridden disaster to go and do this. But that's absolutely fine. We shall stick at it. I've had to message the mate and say, why am I Bromley? But jeez, we are struggling today. It is like a sea out on the roads of Britain. Even the services is flooded. Just going through this minor lake here. Jeez, yeah, that's about half a foot deep. Parish winter, won't hurt it. Right, back to more exciting piss and wet road time lapse. You know you want it. Still going. So we left at 11:30 this morning to do 120 miles. It's now 25 to 4. We are in traffic in Bromley. Oh, I love this country. I mean, crap roads, roadworks, traffic jams, flooded roads, idiot drivers. You just sort of think, oh, give me a French road any day. Anyway, we have 2.1 miles, and then I think, yes, I'm pretty much there. That'll probably take me 2 hours. That'll be fun. It says 10 minutes. Don't believe it. Don't believe any of it. My windscreen wiper blades have started squeaking, which is immensely annoying. I need replacing. Nothing lasts. They're only about 8 months old. Rubber's gone old. Right, well, I would advise not coming to Bromley on a Thursday afternoon because it's horrible. You live here, well, I mean, perhaps I'm missing the nice bits, but the bit I'm on is horrible. And for the traffic, and a nightmare. And the British can't merge. Just can't quite get that in their heads, one after the other, you know. So they went on the arc. Oh, no, that's an Audi. Yep, Audi, Range Rover, oh dear. Right, I think we're through. Oh, we're going in the filling station to pick up the children. Of course we are. Dwight Evoke. Pilot turd. Right, onward.
A few moments later.
Right, you'll have to excuse the video quality because it has been absolutely sleeting it down all day. We have it loaded. Man's really sound fella. And it's quite posh around here. There's like all sorts of big houses and posh electric opening gates. It's not what I'm used to. But man, he's got some stuff. He has got some nice vehicles in his driveway. He's got a Renault 16 that I quite like to take home with me now. But anyway, we have acquired our French-based machine out the back here. And what I'm going to do is 2.5 hours of horrible traffic and nastiness. I'm going to head back home, and then we shall show you this quick, probably squeeze around in the services when we found some light. And then we'll see you in the morning, and we'll see quite what we've bought, because obviously I bought it in the dark, and it was pissing with rain, so I haven't really looked at it. I've just dragged it on a lorry, and I don't think I've got a logbook, but we'll sort that out afterwards. We ain't gonna worry about things like that. Right, homeward bound. The joys of the M25, 3.8 miles till we get off on the M3. Hateful, miserable country. This is the nice section with the big concrete lumps that go dunk, 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 dunk for miles. We've got a 40 mile an hour on at the moment, obviously because there's some description of congestion, so we're all trying to slow us all down. I think we are possibly coming up to the release off, which means I've got to try and get over a lane. It's going to be a pain in the hole. I absolutely detest this fucking country, honestly, excuse my language. Right, we're going, are we going? We're going. I need to be... No, you're going in your shitty four-wheel drive as well, so I need to get over here. You get out of the way in your cat BMW. It's been quite an exciting trip, Sal. Have you missed the bit where someone in a Kia decided to steer across the front of a 44 tonner on the inside of me, despite lacking lane services? That was quite exciting. It wasn't the lorry driver's fault. They obviously just weren't looking, so they did that bit basically where they ended up wrapped around the front of a truck sideways. There's nothing the fella could have done about it. They just literally turned into him, and then he pushed him about 20 yards. Luckily enough, everyone was alright. Apart from obviously now the motorway is blocked, there's two cretins in a Kia can't drive. So hopefully M3 might be a bit more pleasant, and then we'll be off the hateful London orbital car park. On this front, I'm going to put bits of French motorway in the middle of these bits of time lapse, just so you can see the difference. Smooth, organised, well maintained, perfect. It's taken me from 11:30, 12, get from Sixpenny Hanley to Bromley. It took me to nearly 4 o'clock. That's like nearly 5 pissing hours. Ideas and nothing driving around the bend. And then you get idiots like this that don't know where they're going, and they're stupid. I mean, he's a stupid Audi driver, come careering across 3 lanes of traffic trying to kill everyone, and then decide that wasn't what you needed to do, and you're coming back on it again. Knobhead. Go away. That's it. Go kill someone else somewhere else. Idiot. Now we're going back with the dunk. Oh no. Is this tarmac? It could be tarmac. It could be smooth. It's not going to last very long. It never does. We're going to go back to the dunk. Smash. Dunk in a minute, aren't we? Maybe we are. Oh, pleasant for a while. Right, on this joyous note, I'm going to leave this alone, and then I'm going to get off this motorway 1.5 miles. As long as no one drives into me, drives to the back of me, tries to kill me. I do have an idiot on my inside somewhere, but I've lost them. So I'm going to work on trying to drive into them and see if they get out of the way. There we are. God. Marvellous, because we should be coming up on the M3! Whoa, you're almost halfway home. we seem to have some confused people. They came up some traffic lights and then they parked the car in the middle of the road. Hopefully, yes, that's good. That was pretty confused. So hopefully that no one else was coming the other way with the traffic lights. Admittedly, the guy that went round them a minute ago, red lights didn't apply to him. So I don't quite know what was going on there. It's a worrying world that we live in. Someone with auto-dip headlights coming straight at us where the headlights haven't auto-dipped. Turn your lights down, knobtard, or I'm about to blind you. I'm going to blind you. You can get some fucking block. Yet. Really? What is wrong with the world? Excuse the language, thank you. Should not be allowed out on their own, let alone in a motor vehicle. Anyway, we are almost home. We'll have to edit that bit out because I'm not sure that language is allowed on television. We have about 4 miles to do and it is 25 past 8 at night. So if you want to drive to Bromley, back again, which is 112 miles, takes hours and is miserable. Don't do it. Well, we are the next morning. Probably the next afternoon by now. We'll see. Recovery truck is now empty. So when I came in first thing this morning after a load of random running around and moving stuff and sorting other things that you haven't seen yet, clearing a space, we had to make what we just got roll. So 3 of the tyres came around, 1 of them didn't, and then the back brake on the driver passenger's rear she was stuck on. So we had to beat on that a bit, and then it sort of rolled off. We actually picked it off with a forklift, and it rolls and it's just there. So I'm going to show you now. Stop rubbing on my chin, microphone. What my new treasure is. Right, let's go and get me coffee. I'll let you admire my new acquisition. You're like, haven't you already got one of them? I was like, I have already got one of them. Obviously already got 2 or 3 more of them. So you'll remember the great hedge Peugeot revival. This is a bit similar, but this, you hear it here first, is not rusty. This has been barn garage stored somewhere in the Bromley area since 1993, 1994, when it obviously broke. Now this is a 1982, registered the 25th of August 1982, Peugeot 305 estate, which you will have worked out already. Phase 1, 3 stud wheels. She's an early one, like 100% hedge. Now, sadly, when they dragged it out, they did slightly bust that headlight and mum the under panel by putting a winch cable around it and pulling it out. We're going to have to try and take that off and bash it back straight. But luckily enough, whilst repairing the hedge Peugeot, I did manage to conquer the world in new old stock Peugeot 305 headlights. And randomly enough, everything comes round. I have that headlight brand new in a box in there because I bought 2 passenger side ones for some strange reason whilst trying to buy passengers and the drivers because I'd forgotten which one I bought and got all excited and bought the wrong one again. So that we have. So what to say about it? Well, this is the extremely slow 1.6 diesel non-XUD diesel in the sump, gearbox in the sump one. So before they did, I'm sure it's the XUD 7, isn't it? Which is phase 2. They had, we'll bring you in here under this in a minute. They had this funny 1.6 Lucas Cav pumped 1.5, 1.6 diesel that wasn't very good, apparently. It's nestling in there, in no work. So lying on the floor over there, we have a selection of parts that were in it, that came with it. So sadly, they've done the same to the exhaust. They've burnt that up in a heap, but a talented man will be able to fix that. Now there is a cylinder head gasket set lying over there. Now she's dated 1993, brand spanking new in a packet. There is another cardboard box with a Haynes comic, also dated in the 90s, and a selection of engine parts that have been removed. And look at it. So, thank you to Linda and Paul. Linda is the lady that won the Peugeot 309 turbo diesel, the first competition that we ever did. Obviously, Paul is her husband, Anya is her daughter. They're lovely. They came to the Festival of the Unexceptional. You might have met them if you were there with us this year. And we met them first at the Festival of the Unexceptional the year before they won a car. So because I had been in France, not concentrating on the internet, buying treasure, junk, rubbish, old cars, I had missed this because I am normally all over eBay, FaceTube for anything Peugeot 305 because you just can't find nothing anymore. So last Saturday night, Linda sent me a message on the WhatsApps that said, Paul spotted this, have you seen this? And I was like, off I went. Then I replied to her message with, I'm on it. So, here it is. Bought it off a very nice man in Bromley with quite a cool car collection. He got it. We didn't extract it from the barn garage, but I do have one really good photograph which we've used as the opener to this video. Off a load of people that do house clearances, they phone him up whenever they find something they view as worth the saving. So this, and then he sent a recovery man to go and get it, who did all that damage on the front there because he's a retard. But it has done. We've got a few doors that open, not all of them. The heady heights of 122,000 miles. Its last showing has been taxed in 06 of 1994. I have no idea on the owners. Don't think it came with a logbook, even though he said he had one, but he didn't have it, so that was fine. But there is one hole. There's one hole, really randomly, in the side of the rear flitch, where something like has been leaning against it on the inside that's about that big in the entire car. There is no 100 hours worth of welding floors in. None of that. We have managed to persuade most of the tyres, as I said a minute ago, to come round. Apart from that one, exploded. So I had to go trawling through and find a rubbish tyre to put on that and beat the brake drum off to death, trying to get the thing off. So we need to look at the brakes. But more importantly, we need to get under here. And because I haven't really looked at this, to be honest, you are looking at this at about the same time I am, because literally yesterday was the most miserable, wet, cold, nasty, horrible day on record. I left here at 11:30 in the morning. I didn't get to Bromley till 4 o'clock. Got you, Les. I then hooked this on in the pissing rain with all the wheels locked up. That took a while to drag it on the lorry. Then me and the fella that owned it got talking cars because he had some stuff. It was a bit posh around there. And then I roared all the way back down the miserableness of the M25 and the M3 Elizabeth late last night. And then by that time I'd had enough. I got home at 9:15 last night. All I went was 120 mile up there and 120 mile back. I hate this country. It's rubbish. Can't go anywhere at speed. So, what we're going to do is we're going to assess on the situation of how bad, because this under here doesn't look terribly good. It's all sort of hanging out. We'll have a look around the car. It has the same interior as 100% hedge, or 110% hedge. And but the seats haven't got holes in them. And it is even more poverty. The 1.5, 1.6, 1.5 SR that is the hedge Peugeot, she's a posh model. This one has no radio aerial, but that's good. That means that hasn't rotted out, dropped water on the floors. And it has poverty pack windy exercise windows, not the electrics. No central locking, but we do have keys, quite a selection of keys. There's like some new ones and some old ones. But I'm assuming they can only be from the 90s because matey didn't have any keys made for it. He basically bought it, looked at it for a bit, and then sold it to me. So, might as well have a go at seeing if we've got enough bits to put it together. I can't think this is going to be a 1 episode broom, but it might be a 2 or a 3 episode Christmas broom. And I think there is possibly some shininess left in this car once we've bent that bit back to shape where someone's ruined it. Idiots. I think we'll demonstrate with my sleeve. Look. And the only downside of it is that someone has done the black gack across the bottom of the doors years ago. But that may, on the other side of things, have actually saved it because the doors are there and so are the sills. We don't have to make them. I've got all the wheel covers. I've got all the wheel plastic little caps that hold the nut cap things. I even have, we'll bring you over here in a minute, 2 front grills. It's got also, someone must have been strapping the children in because it's got retrofit, quick fit. You know, there ain't nothing quicker than a quick fit fitter. You're right. It's the rear seat belts that someone has fitted in there. They're not like the inertia really type ones because the hedge Peugeot, she now have the rear seat belts. You just die like a brave person in an accident in the back and go flying forwards, take the front people out who are wearing inertia real seat belts. What's the sticker on the back of my Hilux say? No airbags fitted in this, we die like real men. Got that off a nice YouTube fella at Rustle. Right, so what we're going to do, I'm going to give you a tour of the inside of the car using the doors that open. That's half of them. You can have a look with me because I haven't really had a look. And we'll have a look at this pile of stuff over here that is the rest of it, and then we're going to get under here and look at the mess that is the engine. So we start here. Look. Look. That is a non-rusty Peugeot 305 tailgate. No expanded crazy foam will be needed here to keep the window in. Look at the squareness of it. A 305 Grand Luxury diesel. Square as you like down the sides. No big holes. There's a tiny little one coming on there, but we'll work on that little tiny. But there's no big holes. Sills, doors. No mouldy door cards. Not as plush as the Hedgepug's door cards. They are not trimmed to match the seats, and it does not have the pocket for putting rubbish in. This door, no open. I know exactly why that is from Hedge Peugeot, because what happens is the little latch in here sticks, and then neither that will pop, this will open, or the inner handle will work. So we'll get oiling on that in a minute and get that fixed. Mate, he did polish this bit. He said I just couldn't resist it, so he's given it a bit of a rub there with some T-cut. Shiny. I mean, I'm amazed by the shininess. This bit is a bit of a shame. I'm going to figure out what we do with that because that is slightly upsetting me. It is going to need some tyres. 145 14s. Cheap, less than 100 quid a set, because we're not needing all that for the power. It's not going to have a lot of power. Now, I would open the boot and show you the beautiful inside the car, apart from the fact that, yep, that's going to want a bit of bringing her in. That is seized. So we'll go over here next, and we're going to look at the pile of parts that came with it. And then we're going to get underneath the front and have a look quite how bad underneath the bonnet is. I have had one quick look, and it didn't look very good. I mean, the car is good, but the engine was not looking the best. So if you can see past the shininess that is Fudgy's 2.8 Capri, you'll notice he's not here today. He has had a sudden strike of manthrax. He has gone down. He's still alive. It's touch and go. He's got this flu bug cold thing. He's gone out, but that's fine because we officially finished for Christmas yesterday. So that's his problem. He can deal with that. Lying on the floor here, you will see 2 grills for some random reason, but we've only got 1 car. A slightly bent exhaust. The old head gasket, and we'll get to that in a second. That's definitely the exhaust manifold. That's part of the inlet manifold. That's the rocker cover. There's the rest of the wheel caps there, and I think we have 1 spare. H comic. How to fix your Peugeot 305 petrol. Well, that's handy, isn't it? I mean, that's really going to be of use. I mean, rubbish. A box with a selection of parts in it. I'm assuming that this is the front engine mount, top one. There is a selection of broken head bolts and smashed up stuff in there. A 3-metre Stanley tape, quality one. Oh yeah, it's amazing how things were made better back then. It's actually quite heavy. Even the brake works. I'm having that. Well, I suppose technically it's mine anyway. Laid out in the boot was all these plastic bags, which I'm assuming had the major of the engine parts neatly laid out on them. So on the side in the boot was a complete engine gasket set, dated the 5th of the 2nd, 1993. And beside it, out of its packet, so someone has obviously tried fitting it because it's got a headlight, and there's a cylinder head dowel poking through it for some reason. There ain't no date on that, but I would assume that that is probably out of there, or came with it. There's a head gasket for it, a 4-lug one. So over here is the old head gasket, which was lying in the boot. So, head gasket's a good thing, so if you sort of know what you're doing, this microphone's doing my... Just stop rubbing on my chin. Thank you. You can sort of read a head gasket to see quite what went wrong. And I would have said, judging by the head gasket from 1993, that it is very possible that this cylinder here, can you see the burn mark there, was leaking into the water jacket and sort of across to the cylinder next door to it, because these ones are all pretty reasonable. This one here does not look very nice. So we obviously were having cylinder head gasket issues, so someone took it apart and then something happened and they never put it back together again. 1993 was quite a time ago, so the head seems to be half plonked on it. Whether it's been put back on it and it was in the boot, I don't know. So I'm going to go and have a look under the bonnet now, try and get the head lifted out and see what on earth is. If we get lucky, someone will have greased the cylinders. If not, it's probably going to be rusty, and then we'll have to decide what we do from there. And hopefully we've got all the bits. Because if we haven't, that could be really, really difficult. Like really, really difficult. Right, so we're going to go together. Now one thing it does is the bonnet release works. And even the thing stop it whacking in the head. Look at those inner wings. There is the original Jackie thing, is there? She's still present. Look at those strut top mounts. That's a big gasket. It's all there. Well, apart from the airbox, because I think the airbox might be missing, which may be a problem, because I haven't found that yet. Now we have got a fully floating. Oh no, we haven't. It's still bolted in. We've got a fully floating, not attached radiator system. It's going to need to come out in a minute. And behind it, just here, is. Oh, we have got the injection pipes. That's good. Starter motor is there. I think we may be missing an airbox, but the engine is sort of hanging here on the grace of God. I would assume that this cylinder head is still half attached, because I'll bring you in here for a better look in a second, but the thermostatic rev up for the diesel pump is still attached, so I don't think they've had it sort of half sat off to one side. So I mean, it's there. I mean, if we got any, does it? Oh no, it doesn't do any of the turning stuff. Really expecting it to anyway. They have well and truly mum that, and then the numpties bent everything. What is wrong with people? So you can see this bit's a bit bent, and then they've bent the valance down there. Just can't get the idiots these days, can you? Ruin the headlights. At least they've only... haven't they? Yeah, we can fix all that. Most of it has survived. I think the bits of plastic that are broken are there. So we'll save on those, because we're going to need them. That can go in the car in a minute. Dashboard storage. So I think the sensible thing to do, we'll lean you in here a bit more so you can see the disaster that is this tiny little French diesel, whatever it is, engine. And then we're going to have to take this radiator out to allow proper out. I mean, oh, well, it did come with some really crispy, rather crap looking bungee straps. I mean, there's not a lot of bungee going on in there, is there? Where is that going? It's going. What? Rubbish. A piece of 1990s genuine rag, is that? No, that can come out too. Oh, that's stuck in there because someone squashed it up at the front. I wonder how that happened. So I think what we need to do is get the radiator out, and then we probably need to get a jack underneath the centre of the sump, because poor engine at the moment is sort of just sat on an oil fill housing, which is not ideal, because obviously this has the gearbox in the sump like a Mini with 2 drive shafts coming out. They abandoned it the year afterwards and then went for the gearbox mount on the side like all modern cars have, but this is proper old. And look, and I'm assuming that is that Lucas? No, it might be. No, it isn't. No, Tissel, it's a random French thing. Right. And what's that there poked in the bulkhead for? What is that for? It's just a big hole. What's supposed to be there? Is that a heater matrix? No. No, the heater matrix is there. Why is there a massive hole for the bulkhead? Don't know. We'll. It's a genuine hole. It's not a rusty one. Got the jack handle. Got some genuine, original French attention and Achtung stickers. Obviously, Achtung being a German. Horrible language. Don't dislike the Germans, but it's one of those languages, isn't it? Right. So we're going to have to try and see if we can lubricate on the stuff at the front here and get this rad pack out and see what has been done to little Peugeot. I mean, there's a possibility that camshaft could be a tad rusty. Just in case you can't see, I'll bring him in here now. So now you're on the close-ups, you'll see. I mean, she's a little bit. That end's all right. I mean, I think with a cleaning that'll come around. Actually, it might be. No, it's just rusty. And the head is sort of fully fell off, but it's still attached to this, which is attached to that. And then we need to get rid of this, which is not attached to anything apart from the 2 mounts at the bottom. And then the whole engine, oh, I've dropped my fag now. The whole engine is listing badly in one direction, so we'll get that sorted as well, get it popped back up again. But luckily enough, being a Peugeot expert that I am now, all this will be nice and easy. So we had to quickly cut the bottom radiator mounting bolt nuts off. They have a specific captive bolt that comes up through to hold the bottom radiator rubbers on. They are impossible to get. So managed to save them by cutting the nuts off, which obviously you can get because they're metric. That's not a problem. That removed the rad pack. I have fished the headlights out because they're really easy on a 305 Mark 1. You just literally pull this off and pop, and out she comes. So you'll see the zip tied. I've applied some because they've broken it there. And they've broken it there, so I've applied some top quality high strength bumper glue onto that and zip tied it on for a minute, so that'll set there nicely, and I'm going to stick that back together so we don't lose it. I did attempt to undo the rev up from the filter housing. That was not happening. So basically, I got it off the pump. That came undone. The cable is good. So in theory, that should free this from there. Oh, it's lined. Right. Oop. What does this look like? It looks like someone's tried to clean it with a rock. But it doesn't look cracked. No. I don't think someone's tried to clean it. No, sort of half tried to clean it. So, I don't know. But the swell ports, because this is non-direct injection, it's IDI. So it's got swell ports. It's like an old 2 1/4 Land Rover diesel. And the swirl ports, that one's got a little crack in it, but that won't hurt. But it definitely doesn't look hideous. You can see where it was blowing across. I think it's this end. So it was cylinder 4 on that gasket. You can see here. Well, you can't, but I can. Because cylinder 4, the valve, exhaust valve, is actually slightly pitted, which makes you think it was getting water into it. Anyway, that's fine. So we're going to put this cylinder head to one side, and then we'll have a bit of a closer look in here. The timing chain is still attached and hooked up. I don't know why someone has unbolted the entire timing cover, and you can get the bolt out of the. But there must be a reason for that, I suppose. They were doing what they were doing. What is that? Ooh, it looks like an exciting repair using JB Weld. Where is that? I don't know. That would be here. We'll have a look at that as well. Could be worse. Could be worse. We're going to have to be careful not to lift the liners. But we can do something. I think we need to put some diesel in there. And I'll show you this bit hanging off the side of the block down there. That's not the best. So if you quickly scooch under here, you can see, obviously you've got your 4 individual cylinder liners, pistons, timing chain. Someone has unbolted the timing cover. Don't quite know why, because I would have thought you could have got that bolt out in there with the timing cover in, but that's fine. We've got all the nuts and bolts for that. They're in a box over there. Now this is one of those random Peugeot engines where they do like having belts that go around about 3 corners. So that there, it's the same as the Hedge Peugeot. It would be interesting to see if this engine is similar, which I think it is. I think it's almost a dieselised petrol, because this doesn't half look like the other engine that I've got, which is 1.5 petrol, and I've got a spare one. So something exciting is going on here. It would look like that either a lump or something, or someone's welded. I think someone's welded there, but we can always sort that out. I mean, it's in there, because I mean this is an aluminium block, so I don't know. I don't quite know what the hell that is. But basically, I mean, these cylinder liners aren't horrific. I mean, they're not oiled, but they're not horrendously rusty. And there is some cack down in the water jacket. There's quite a lot of cack in the water jacket. So we might get there with an airline in a minute, blow that out, and then you have to try and make it turn. Now it does look like that liner, see this liner is lifted already. That one's lifted. So what I'm assuming will have happened is that the liners will have moved to whether they have litmus liner seals, little paper liner seals, or because what happens is once you loosen them off, you ruin the seals. Obviously there's water in here, and then the water can creep past the bottom of the liner and drop into the sump, which is not really what you want. So we may have to pull it down a bit further than we originally planned, but via a missing airbox that I can't find, I think everything I need is here. I mean, it has been apart for donkey's years, isn't it? There's a bolt in there that I want saving. I don't quite know what that's doing. There's definitely a load of squirrel storage going on in there. But I don't see any rust. And I mean, she was shitting oil and crap and rubbish out before she gave up, I think. Before she came apart. And see the random bulkhead holders down there? I don't know what the hell that's for. But it definitely ain't there. But everything else is not bad. Ooh, AC Dalco fuel filter. Does the handpipe work? We'll call that a fail. We'll call that stuck. But it is all here. Isuzu Row 2 diesel. No, it is Cav. Yeah, here's the CAV pump. So that stands a chance of possibly being able to brought back around again. Or if this is completely dead and sausaged, we're going to have to put something else in here, aren't we? That'd be 2 to do. Right, I'm going to get blowing this cylinder block out, just get all the gack out of it, because let's be honest, it ain't going to work getting anything else down in here, because I mean, I might just block that off, because don't really want any more. There's not too much cack in there, but we'll put a cloth in there and then we'll get in here, hoosh and toosh all the crap out of there, and then we may just see if it moves at all, because we're assuming the liners are unseated, and there might be liner seals in that kit over there, or it might not even need them. So I keep whipping bits out. I've just taken the side lights out because I don't want to break them, because I've got to get this bit out in a minute. This is the bent bit I have. One tiny bit of rust. I've been robbed. I mean, look, that bit there's got the bit rotted off of it. Oh no. So we have wedged a piece of rag in here. We have 300 of the PSIs here. Well, I don't think we've got quite 300 because I haven't turned the compressor on. But, oh yes, oh, that's lovely. And that hasn't been sat open for 1993. I said it's like 30 years, 32 years. Got a bit of a blow down while we're here. There's packing shit and rubbish everywhere under there. Come on, squirrel stuff. Out. More shit in there. Well, I've been rotting my Peugeot out, thank you. It's taken me years to find one that isn't rotted out. We've got two that are good now. Two that are good and one that's repaired. More squirrel stuff. There you come. That'll be a mouse. But a mouse. Come out to, out. What's that? A fossilised snail. Yeah. Ooh. Improved it more vastly. Wasting your time, really, aren't I? Right, I think what we're going to do now is we're going to brew more coffee. It's just a situation when I have some flat batteried old people to go and rescue. Because it's that time of year now when, because everyone else has stopped for Christmas, all those people you haven't heard from that don't use you anymore or have found someone more cost effective ring you up when the cost effective person has buggered off and then they're stuck. You can sort of odds it. You get a message or a phone call that goes, "Hello, how are you?" And you're like, "Yep. What do you want?" Because I haven't heard from you in like 5 years. "Oh well, we were just." Were you? So I felt sorry for these two this morning because they are into their mid-late 80s and they've bought themselves a Peugeot RCZ. I have no idea why. They had a 206 convertible before, which was bad enough, pretty bad. And so they've changed that out for an RCZ, not driven it for 5 weeks, and surprisingly enough, the battery's gone flat and it won't start. So we're going to go down there in a minute and jump start them, wish them Merry Christmas and get out of there before I get collared for anything. Let's go and find some diesel to pour in these holes and put the kettle on. Right, we have returned from rescuing old people with broken, modern-ish Peugeot RCZs. They are alive. Nothing wrong with the battery. It had just been left for 5 weeks, and funnily enough, it wasn't completely flat. It just didn't want to start a car. I don't want me bolt. Need me bolt. So, I have discovered in the last 10 minutes that this is actually free, apart from the fact that all the liners obviously are hopping up and down, which is not what you want. So what ideally you'd need is the correct Peugeot liner clamp kit to hold it down. Well, I haven't got that, so what I have invented is this. Posh, eh? Now it's a really strange block setup that, because it's aluminium and it hasn't got a threaded block, it's got nuts and bolts, some of which may have escaped because I don't think the previous person knew to take them all out, but I've got a selection of them, so there's a fair chance I might be able to get some more, and I have a feeling the other one was the same. Give it here. That's it. You know you want to come out there. You've only been in there 10 minutes. Because I did that, put you in there to get the nut out the bottom of it. So give me me bolt back, you miserable thing. Thank you. So basically what I needed is a liner clamp. So something to go sort of across the bottom of the liners, like this, to try and hold them down so I can turn the engine over properly without the liners all leaping out. Now we are not going to pretend that whatever sealing device on the bottom of the liners is going to be any good. But advances in modern technology, mainly called steel seal, might actually cure that problem for us. All I need is some description of, what do we think that is, 19? Let's give it a bit of a tweak then. So you can see actually they are whopping back in there. I need to stop them moving too much. And I don't think the pistons actually come out over the top anyway, so that should be fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to now go back on the Great and Marvellous time lapses, because the lighting is awful in here, because it is now dark. Get my cylinder honing device, and I did just have a whiz round in there with it. I may need to actually move this out of the way to do that. Rubbish. That'd be alright. So I can chuck that down a bit to do that. Because that's going to be right on it. And then we can turn it over with this clamp in here to allow me to get it. So we just leave it there so it doesn't smash my stones to pieces. See what I mean? Little bolt underneath. Nut and bolt. We'll hone these out so that all the rust's out of them when they come back up again, and then we're going to try and wind the engine so it's on top dead centre on number 1 at the moment. We'll hone these 2 centre cylinders, and we're going to wind it so it's top dead centre on number 2. This should pull both of these down to the bottom, and then we'll do exactly the same, and hopefully that might bring it around a bit. I don't know what you're thinking, but I'm thinking that don't look half bad. I did zip tie this sprocket up because he had a bit of wire hanging out. He has actually dropped the timing chain, so she's not engaged with the bottom sprocket, so the timing she has gone, so we ain't worried about that for a minute. But they came up all right. So I'll fill them full of some liquid, which will most likely disappear into the sump because the rings are probably going to be stuck-ish. And as to what the liner seal's like, yeah, it might have like a rubber seal on the bottom, but the only way to change them is to strip the whole thing out. I don't think we're going to be doing that. If it leaks, steel seal will cure the problem. And it does work, to be honest. We cut our teeth on Renault engines like 21 turbos, and even, let's say, Fords and Swords and Majors had litmus liner seals and they used to leak. So Wonderwell back in the day, steel seal, something like that, all you're trying to do is fill that groove in there to stop it leaking, mixing fluids. So I'm quite chuffed with that, and it's Friday night, compressor's noisy, heater's going, and it is the 6-penny Hanley Christmas piss up do, even though I gave up drinking. So we're all meeting up there, all us local mechanics, and I think the wives, apart from my wife, is off with her mate doing something, so she was pre-booked. So we're going to trundle up there in a bit and go and be jolly and Christmassy. So we shall come back to this in the morning. So we're going to have to assess on what the head is like. One would assume it's going to need skimming. What the worry with this engine is, you don't really want to pour too much money into it at the moment, because it could be absolutely fruit. Or it could not be. And if it was absolutely fruit, it's not really worth the fixing. The car is, the engine may not be. But anyway, we're going to go for it. So we'll still rule the head tomorrow, see what she looks like. We might just go for her, and then we're going to have to try and figure out how the blinking hell you time it. Anyway, I shall catch you tomorrow. Right, so we are the next afternoon, actually. So Christmas do was good. Left 11 o'clock. I gave up drinking 4 years ago for a month. And as a man that lived in pubs and got himself in lots of trouble, that month became 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. That has become 4 years. And the strange thing is, I don't miss it. I had a beer or 2 beers in France with my mate John a year ago. Man, 2 bottles are left. You know that headache you got when you were 16 when you had some white lightning and your brain tried to explode at 3 o'clock in the morning? I had that. I'm not doing that again. So Terence was slightly nursing a bit of a cider-based hangover this morning at breakfast, but I was crispy. Monkey, he is pretty rough. He wasn't on our Christmas do. They went go-karting for his firm. That's the man that owns Trigger. And they went to the pub till 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock this morning. He's pretty bad. So I'm feeling pretty good about my Christmasness. So what I've done this morning, put the goggles on, is stripped down this Peugeot cylinder head. So this is obviously off of that. Now, you will see that camshaft is a bit rusty, but I think with some help, that will come around. You can obviously see the vehicle definitely had the overheating problems, because that's a horrible dose of yellow sealant, orange silicon, sorry, and there is no thermostat in this engine at all, on this cylinder head at all. Now, we have very quickly scooched, obviously, this camshaft out, because this head is just full of gook. The injectors came out clean, the heat plugs came out clean, apart from there is one heat plug end, that much missing, I'll show you. So, it is not stuck in there, so we're going to have to go investigating into swirl ports to try and find out what happened to that, because it's sheared off a long time ago, so I'm assuming it will be rattling around, because it's indirect and it's swirl ports. I'll explain what they are. So most modern diesels are direct injection. So your injector, like on a CDI Mercedes engine, pokes straight out normally, like either here or between the valve, straight into the cylinder, and in a piston. So these Hilux engines are IDI. So you'll see this Hilux piston is flat topped, and Hilux engines are indirect injection. They inject into a swirl port, which is what these are. That's a cylinder head swirl port. So basically the injector is in there with a heat plug to get it going and everything, and the actual fuel is ignited, is blown into this port and then ignites, and then a jet of very hot flamey stuff comes roaring out of this hole into the cylinder, the explosion, and pushes that piston down. Now if I creep off into my parts store, I will go and find a direct injection piston and show the difference. Right, so I have returned. So the difference between indirect and direct diesel injection. Let me just move all this stuff here, because I've been doing this for a second time, basically because when I picked that cylinder head up on the first take, that squashed my microphone in my pocket. Turn it off. Handy. So you will see indirect injection. So indirect injection, as we explained a minute ago, is these swirly ports. Yes. Keeping up with this. And the normal giveaway. Turn this cylinder head around the other way. Lean over here and grab one of these. Now these are the Peugeot injectors that are screwed in on the side of the head here at an angle. Yeah. So they are screwed into what we know as a swirl port. This, now it's the right way up, that is the swirl port. That is where the flamey blow up explosion shoots out. So basically, this injector atomizes fuel, so yeah, under pressure, into this port. In there, for first starting, is a diesel heat injection heat plug, which we showed you a minute ago, one of these. Bang, bloom, explosion, push, flat top, piston down like this Hilux piston, but it's the same sort of thing. And then the diesel is running from there onwards. Now, there is a different way of doing it, the more modern way of doing it. Most modern diesels are direct injection, so I'm going to put this cylinder head over here, and we'll come back to that in a second. We'll put this piston, well actually we might keep this piston for a minute. This is a 2.5 TDI Volkswagen piston, and you will notice the difference. Hilux, indirect injection. 2.5 TDI, direct injection. Now if you look, I'm going to put that over there so we don't damage it. Centre of this piston is a swell port. Basically the same idea as the indirect injection swell port, but it's actually in the centre of a piston. So you see there's like a little tit there, and basically the injector is actually in the cylinder. The nib of the injector is poking into a cylinder and blows fuel directly into this swell port. So the explosion and the flames and all the blowing upness happens here. Now for extra brilliance, I'm going to get, removing this stuff that I've already done once already, pick this big heavy cylinder head up, which is the one that turned me microphone off last time. So this is a 3 litre Iveco Mark 6, Mark 7 cylinder head. Now you will see the holes here. That is where the Iveco fuel injectors poke out. So where the nib of the injector pokes directly into the cylinder. Yep. And then you'll see that tiny little nib poking out there is your heat plug. So that'll be for first starting red hot, and then your injector here atomises diesel into the cylinder, explosion starts into swirl port, big flames, bang, broom, piston gone, engine running. So this is direct injection. I mean, the first mass production you'll know of direct injection diesel was the Ford Transit DI, fitted in a Mark II, Mark III, Mark III, Hilux, not Hilux, Mark II, Mark III Transit. Remember the they were really loud and harsh, especially when cold. And they didn't really need heat plugs. Direct injection diesels do start much better because you are not waiting for a cold bit of steel on the side when you're cranking it over, you're pouring that. Because basically diesels start on compression. So the compression ratios in diesels are much higher because they squash air really, really much. Yeah. So there's no spark ignition. So in a petrol, you compress air, throw fuel into that air and air mixture, air and vaporised petrol, and then ignite it with a spark. In a diesel, you are doing it by basically, there is no spark ignition. So diesels do it by their much higher compression ratio. So when you squash air really, 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 really hard, it gets red hot. Yep. So when the air's red hot and you throw atomised diesel into it, it ignites. That's the idea. That's how a diesel runs. So what I'm going to do is put this piston back over here now, and then go back for picking up the first cylinder head that I started with. Oop, this is this one. So we'll see I have removed a valve. I was just showing you the quick tip earlier on when the microphone went out on how to remove one of these valves nice and easily. So I'm going to put this one over here because we've got to do it again. So things that I was amazed by, this Peugeot has double valve springs, 1982. Now you'll see valves are retained. Right, they have what we know on the top as a keeper. Yep, and then a keeper has 2 collets. These are the little valve collets which Al is going to try not to lose. So these are wedged or conical, whatever you want to call it, and they lock into a valve under pressure, springs, they can't come out. Now I obviously need to send this cylinder head in and have it. It's going to need to be surface ground. We'll get there in a minute. But to do that, the valves need to be out. It needs to be perfectly clean, and all the bits of random hanging off stuff need to be removed. So the best way, quick tip, to get, works really well on vertical valves. Don't try it with ones poking it because you'll bend things. So vertical valve, if you can't be bothered to use one of them big squidgy presses and fish it out with magnets and stuff, is you get a socket, right, it needs to be bigger than the hole where the keepers are. Make sure that you are on solid but with a little bit of give. That's one of my keepers out. Oh no, not yet. A bit more thump it in. So there's one, the little keeper's leapt out. Hit it again, don't go crazy obviously, like that, and then you'll hear the ping, and then that basically is the quickest way to remove valve. Flat vertical cylinder. It's no good for putting them back in, by the way. Don't try that on the reverse. So I'll pop that out. So what valves are we there? So that is an exhaust because he'll be smaller, but you can see with these they've got a lot of crud around the bottom of them. The seats actually look really good. They're shiny, which is amazing when you look at the state of this camshaft, which we have taken out. It's not past it. That can be cleaned and brought around. It's not ideal, but I reckon we can save that because you're not going to find another one. I also need to explain some other stuff while we're here. Now, valve clearance wise on something like this, now this hasn't got adjustable tappets. It is hydraulic, well, it's not even hydraulic buckets. Hydraulic buckets adjust themselves. These are solid steel buckets with shims. I'll show you one. So basically, valve clearances on this Peugeot. This is the cam follower bucket. This will sit obviously in here like so. This is number 8, so it is this one because we have numbered them all. This being the front of the engine, this being the back of the engine. So this is number 8 valve bucket. So this, the cam, that lobe there runs round on this, and then this pushes on top of that valve round that spring like so, opens it and closes it. So obviously you need a toleranced clearance. So what you would do is when you are setting these heads up is you've got all your valves in, so when we recut the seats in a minute, which we will do, tidy all these up, this will adjust the original valve clearances. So we will need to do all these valves. It is a pain in the hole. Put it all back together, put the cam in, put it down, and then check the valve clearances to see whether they're within tolerance. Now the valve clearances on this Peugeot are set using these little shims, and these little shims come in a variation of thicknesses. Adjustable using a belt sander, just in case you need to make it thinner. And they sit in the top of a valve, the bucket goes round it, get the idea, and then that gives you a valve clearance, and you change them. It's a pain in the hole to get your clearances to your cam, because obviously as steel gets hotter, it expands. When it gets colder, it contracts, it gets smaller, and you need, because if the clearance is too small, as it gets hot, it'll come up against the cam, it'll be solid on it, and then the valve won't close and you lose all your compression. Are you following? Right, I'm going to put this back and then explain other things that you need to watch. So, on this type of cylinder head, when they cast these things, obviously they have all these caps. Yep. Now this camshaft here, there are no changeable bearings on these. They are just running on oil and an aluminium casing. Are all line bored. So when they cast this head, there's a machine that runs a cutter down through here that cuts these holes out of this cast head to the exact size to fit these cam lobes, which are the central spinning ones, oil fed. So these have to go in the right place. Now, yes, you can move them around if you were a bodger and you might get away with it, but the best bet is to mark them up, which I have done. So this one has a 3 written on the back of it, and it's put in the place over here of cam lobe number 3 at the back, and put them back in the same line. I mean, Pajeros back in the day and Mitsubishi L200s, 4056Ts, we used to do lots of snap cam belts. They were famed for it. And because the valves were vertical, they smash the rockers and they break the cam holding caps. Now, you can get round it with a Dremel and some engineer's glue and make a different cap fit if you're bright enough, but it's never going to be as good as the originals. So to get this shop to get this head to the engineering shop, what I am going to do off camera now is strip the rest of the valves out of it, strip all of the stuff off. So there's a thermostat hanging off of here, or thermostat housing. You can see this vehicle had overheating issues because basically there is no thermostat. It's got some orange TFR, that's fucking RTV, room temperature vulcanizing cream, gooped around, no gasket, and there ain't no thermostat. That was someone's way of trying to keep it going that little bit longer. So we'll need to clean these housings, find the correct thermostat, and also we have got some top quality bulk bodgery going on. So There is the number 1 thermostat housing bolt. She goes in there. Yep, lovely, right length. And then they must have lost the second one. So they cured that using that stack of washers. I mean, ideally, I have now got a load of tiny little washers that could be quite useful. So what we'll do is find the correct bolt or cut a thread longer on this and make it that length rather than that length. And then the only other thing that we found that was minorly exciting is that you'll see, is it this side? It's this side, isn't it? It's this side. Spin head round again. Now, screwed in here are the injector heat, or the heat plugs. So these are little red hot tips. You know, when the twirly light comes on in your car, cold starting, that tip will glow red. This injector, the injector will throw fuel at it. That will start the fire that starts your car. Now, where have I put it? I lost it already. I'm not doing very well with my props today. Because I've done this once over and now I've lost everything. But basically, I have got one of these heat plugs with half of it missing. Well, I've done something with it. It's not thrown in here. It was. That's a good one. That's a good one. That's not a good one. No, I do not know what I've done with that. It's the rubbishness of trying to do things twice because you nosed up your microphone. So basically, one of these heat plugs, that much of the tip is missing, which means it's in this cylinder, so it can't have escaped because it's in direct injection. So there is a fair likelihood it is not recently sheared off either. It is quite old. That tip is rocking around in the IDI port here. So we will have to get in there with the camera and see if we can extract that once Al's found the. I can't show you because I don't know what. Honestly, anyone would think I'd been out on the piss last night, which I haven't. I don't know where I put that. I'm going to put this one back over here and then get quite depressed because I don't know what I did with it. Not there, is it? It's definitely not there. Dropped me biro now that I didn't even realise I had. No, that has gone. Gone. Completely disappeared. Anyway, so what we're going to do now... I've got one more thing to explain. Now, what I was going to do, obviously, is send this cylinder head off and have it skimmed. Apart from, you can't have this cylinder head skimmed. It's a different procedure. So, if you look at the, go back to the Iveco cylinder head a second ago. Obviously, by the time you've pulled the injectors out, taken the valves out, removed the heat plugs, you have a clean aluminium face. One metal, and what you do is you put it on a mill, set up your fly cutter, zoom through, big spinning fly cutter, and basically remachine this face within tolerance to whatever it needed to make sure it was flat, free of pits, good sealing face. It's a tad more difficult with cylinder heads that are in direct injection because even if I take the valves out of this, I've still got these, which are hardened steel swirl ports. So if you put this on a flat deck milling machine, set your fly cutter up, it'll be merrily fly cuttering through this nice soft aluminium at great speed when it encounters this. And this is rock hard, and it will basically normally snaps your fly cutter clean off, goes horribly wrong. So cylinder heads that are in direct injection with swirl ports need to be surface ground. So that's a big machine, basically with a massive great spinning stone that goes across that can cope with the differences in metals, and is capable of, so because it's a big spinning bench grinder wheel, cuts it dead flat but isn't a sharp steel tip that will shear off. So we're going to have to just contact E&R James and see if they have got a surface grinding machine, which I'm sure they have, just to make sure that they can deal with this. And then we need to make this immaculately clean, because I do like to make sure that when you deliver things to an engineering shop, they're not a horrible minging oily mess. It makes their life easier if it's clean. Just spend the time and the effort. They're always really happy to see me because he's like, blimey, that head's really clean. I'm like, yeah, I'm taking all the studs out because obviously they've got to clamp this into a machine, into a rig to do it. So any bits that you leave dangling off are more time for them. They have to take it off, then they have to put it in a bag, then you have to remember where it's supposed to go. So just do it before it goes. Take all this stuff off, take the studs out that hold the camshaft in. They stand less chance of getting damaged. Make sure it's immaculately clean, and when you get it back from the engineering shop, do the same again. Clean it. They will have dosed it over. You can dose it over to make sure that it's not full of filings and it's just all good and lovely. Right, I'm going to go and look at the inside of the Peugeot, and I think that will probably do for this video after I've gone and made my cup of coffee, because I did manage, the glove box wouldn't open when I first got it, and you could lever it down, you could see there was stuff in it. So there's some stuff in that glove box that's been there since 1993. Because I managed to get it open and not break it using some lubricating spray and brilliance. And also, I managed to persuade the boot to open last night, and the 2 pockets in the boot are full of stuff too, none of which is of any use to anyone, but it's quite interesting just to go and have a nose, and I'll show you what the stuff is. I'll show you the inside of the car so you can appreciate the brilliance. I mean, Mrs. D is not appreciating the brilliance, she just went, ugh, of how lovely this is. I mean, I'm getting excited about a blue 1982 boring Peugeot family car that had 50 horsepower and didn't go very well. Only me. Look at that blueness. Now you will notice, if you know the hedge Peugeot and you've seen the videos, those are the same seats. These are much nicer knit because my hedge Peugeot has some wear here. But as this is poverty spec model with windy windows, it doesn't have, the hedge Peugeot's got plushness on the door cards. There is none of that going on here. The carpets are the same. I shall clamber in here in a minute. Ooh, blimey. So, it doesn't have as posh a steering wheel as the hedge Peugeot. It has a Tommy 2-knob blanking plate. No 2 knobs here. And it doesn't even have a roof aerial, which is good because that stopped any water leaking in like it did with all the rest of them, rotting the floors out. It has exercise windows. The crank is missing off of that one, but we found that lying underneath the seat. There is a selection of window type cranks. Look at that, that's the first time that window's gone down since 1993. But it is pretty ball square in here. I mean, everything is the keys and stuff and bits and bobs. And then obviously this glove box was C-solid. So I've managed to persuade that to open. Now, there was exciting stuff in it that was minorly useful. So I have got a spare dome light, or interior light for us British people. A spare hazard light warning switch. Oh, I've got another one down there. And some more tokens. That's a Tony the Tiger token. Yes, I mean, that's got to be pretty rare. We'll put that on eBay. And a tyre valve remover, just in case you ever need one of them. Really handy if someone pisses you off in a car park these days. You just go, and leave. But also, there was much more treasure in there. None of it is any use. So I have got some trees and bird books from the 80s, neatly wrapped in a little plastic thingy, so I can identify birds and trees if I need to. I mean, this is proper old boy motor in this, isn't it? Obviously, it's Mrs.'s tiny lipstick. That was in the thingy, done. So it's either a dolly lipstick, but it is that really ain't an awful lot it used to be. The best one was wrapped neatly in the glove box, in this bag, with a load of lucky bands around it. What has the bag got written on it? Fresh from Sainsbury's, genuine 1990s Sainsbury's bag, is some tinfoil cutlery. Those exciting days out. So I mean, the bag's probably pretty rare, that. Some receipts dated from 1990 that we don't really need. Strangely enough, the sheet lyrics written, printed, photocopied for Bohemian Rhapsody. Ode to Freddie Mercury. It might, it is. This is just real life. This is just a fantasy. Anyone needs those? I mean, this is probably pre-Google. I mean, that would have been a good thing to have got. And then, area-wise, so we've got road map again. Now, this was almost exciting. So we found an envelope that was actually sealed at the time, that felt like it had got something that was really worth keeping, and you thought, well, that could be some cash. I mean, it'd be a bit out of date by now, it could be gold. I mean, it could have been naughty pictures of the wife or something, I don't know. It was well sealed up in the thingy, but no, basically, that's a load of aerial coupons, obviously rare, from 1989. I don't think I'm really going to need those, unless any of you lot are aerial coupon collectors and really feel the need. Hit me up. Handy one was the original Peugeot owner's manual. Fleet line maintenance. School Road, Grays in Essex. It's a warranty. So 305, Mr. Jenkins, 18th of the 7th, 1992. So this must have been just as... Blimey, he did some miles in that then. So if the 18th... Oh no, she in the 18th receipt number. Sorry, back to fleet line maintenance. So what have we got? Fleet Eagle Limited, 2 School Road, Mr. Jenkins. Hang on a minute, mileage 122, engine antifreeze, timing belt, surcharge, pump overhaul. Oh, 85 quid, right. So she's had a load of work done then at 122,983 miles. It's showing 122,983 miles now, the 8th of the 7th, 1992. Wonder what happened there then. Something obviously went wrong. And the MOT certificate. So the MOT ran out in March 1993. 122,983 miles. So there's probably a fairly sizable chance that that clock no go roundy then. That'd be interesting to find out, wouldn't it? Must have been stuck on the because it's 93, it appears to have come apart. So we'll call the mileage not genuine. So it's had some work then, so we're assuming that, yeah. Surface crankshaft. So basically the engine must have come out then. T-belt, 12 quid. Surface crankshaft, so it's got a new crank in it. 305D. Yeah. Engine fit. So 617 quid and 2 pence. Says engine fit. Antifreeze, £6.50. Ah, that must be the T-belt. Can't be. There isn't a timing belt, so TT must be a fan belt. Surcharge, crankshaft of 140. Perhaps she had an engine then. That didn't work out terribly well for him, did it? And then that's the paperwork for it. Oh, yeah. So that engine must be reconditioned. Would explain why it's got a coat of blue paint on it then. We did wonder. So anyway, that's interesting. And what other top quality stuff have we got? Maidstone street plan and a Tidy Britain thing. What is that? Win a copy of Donut. Elf garage thingy. Win a free mug or everything. That's probably no use. None of that competition is probably out of date. South East of England and East Anglia map. Royal Tunbridge Wells. Index, street index, yeah, very use really. Dartford and Swanley. And an original Bentall's a tradition bag. But you'll see this car is, so basically it looks like then, I mean, if you're assuming that clock no county, because it does look like, if you were in here and look at the numbers, it goes 120 and the 22 is half rolled and it's give up. That engine was overhauled stop rubbing my microphone on my chin again. Fairly recently, and it sounds like something went wrong. So perhaps it could be better, which would explain why the cylinders aren't warm. Yeah. We'll call that an upside. Right, well, we'll have a quick look in the back. This door, no open, it's a bit stuck because I know what it is and get into it. So the back of the car scene, she's mint. Exercise windows again, no rust. Clean tidy seats, nice carpets. We're going in the boot now. In the boot. Oh, and one thing I haven't showed you, someone had rear seat belts fitted because they've got quick fit labels on them. Well, that's probably a very good thing because there ain't no shitter than a quick fit fitter, you know. So basically, the boot, the only thing we're stopping it is this paw is slightly stuck. So I managed to get it to go in by lubricating on it, gently tapping it, but that did open the boot. So, genuine original gas struts still work. Now, there was a selection of stuff in the boot because we got a couple of bits of rust where the stuff in the boot was touching the car. So we have a spare, and it's caused a hole in the side of it. We have a spare fuel cap. It's got its original jack. It does have another slightly broken windy handle. I think those are the little things that go round your windy handle up in the front that we're missing, so that's handy. A spare flasher relay, because that's what you keep in your boot. Obviously a slightly nosed number plate, some rags, the original jack, which was still in its correct place, so we've got the entirety of that. Some random piece of sheathing that we don't know what's for. Some nails in the bag. Never know, you might need nails. And also a selection of, I don't know what on earth that is. It does look car-y. Ah, that makes sense. Right, so that, even though it is biodegraded, because this doesn't have a rear wash wipe. So what he's done is he's gathered, that makes sense with that tank, because over here, which was in the other pocket in, it's the rear wash wipe tank out of one, because the Peugeot's got rear wash wipe, because it's quite a neat little unit. You've got, I might get it apart without breaking it. You've got like the pump is built in for the rear windscreen squirty, so two feeds, feed in, feed out, and then that actually goes in there, hung off of those two brackets that are in there. So obviously what he was planning on doing was fitting rear wash wipe for some strange reason. I mean, it's got the wiper, but it doesn't have the... And in here are two genuine 1990 toilet rolls. I mean, they might be worth something, you know. There could be toilet roll collectors in the world that want a genuine 1990 toilet roll. So I'm quite chuffed. There's no rot. That there is, it's just a bit of the paint is falling off there, but it hasn't gone through like the other one has. So we need to get this off at some point gingerly and get the latch freed up. But look how clean and tidy my new Peugeot is. There's a few dead snails down there, but you can't have everything. The same with the tailgate, like as I showed you earlier. There is metal holding the window in. No crazy foam needed there. Take your glasses off, man, because you can't see with them on or off half the time. So I am quite chuffed with my acquisition. There are a few blemishes. I think this one may need to be a coat of painty. Just to make it really nice, because it is really nice. And I know it's only a boring Peugeot 305 family car, but they have all gone again. And I think that will come around really well, especially now that we apparently know that that engine is not very old. That will explain, because we were wondering, it's got blue paint on the bottom of the head. Me and Terry were having a chat about it earlier on, and the block is painted blue. Well, I think you find that's recon, because I mean, if this had done 100 and, depending on how long the clock had stopped working for, like 150,000 miles on one of them was a lot of miles back in the day. I mean, they weren't very good. So much this is a fresh one, and then the head gasket failed. This might explain some stuff. So we'll get working on that, because there's a piece of aluminium welding on there that's a bit random. You wouldn't have done in an engine bay, you'd have done in an engineering shop. That makes sense. So I am going to get that head, that'll have to go in after Christmas, because we're not going to go and aggravate the engineering people now. And then we will require some tyres that aren't cracked and ruined. I've found all the brake bits, because that's easy. and we've got to straighten the front up. But I think this has got a bit of promise. It's going to be horrifically slow and horrible to use, and then we'll decide what we do with it from there once we've poshied it right up, because a 3-stud 1.6 diesel, I don't think there are many of them. I did see that beige one a few years ago that I missed, so we'll keep trundling on. Anyway, we are roaring up to the Christmases. So we have decided to do like 2 random French Christmas episodes. So we're going to hit you with one on Christmas Eve, whether during the day or the evening, we'll work that out. And then we're going to hit you with part 2 on Christmas Day to keep you occupied when you're bored. You can watch me and Simon roar around France and pick up cars, and then me and Fudge fix them. So I will wish you a happy Sunday of relaxing, chilling before Christmas. We will see you Christmas Eve for another exciting instalment. You may have seen a flash of one of the vehicles in the background a minute ago. I did cheat it over, but you knew what it was anyway, so that'll all come round, because we have Ronnie the Renault, he is here, and then we have another exciting French base, but not French base because it is a British car, but it is French made, which is hiding under a seat there, which you'll see. Episode 2, I think. Right, thank you very much, Al60. And also, if you haven't gone and looked at Mad's merchandising shop, www.60dieselsdorset.co.uk, and we have got another upcoming raffle competition. So you'll find that out on Christmas Day. Keep safe, guys. Thank you very much.